Welcome back to the Final Fantasy Tactics All Oracles Challenge being recorded here in February of 2022. Hope you are doing well wherever and whenever you are. Today we are heading to the infamous Sluice Gate at Bethla Garrison. 8 enemies in this battle. Famously, 2 of them have kind of a self-imposed don't move status on them, so you have to be careful that you're not moving too close to them. This one has this is the only battle where you've got the win condition of having to stand on 2 tiles with Ramza. It has to be Ramza, as we'll see, but the knights on the top of the gate there are standing on the sluice gate. So we've got to defeat the enemies here. We've got to get those knights either off of those sluice gates, or we have to get them KO'd and crystallized so that we can move onto those tiles. There are some ways to get those knights to move. I don't, off the top of my head, know what they are, but they can move. You can kind of force them to move if they're in certain conditions. But we have a really massive disadvantage here, which is why this battle is as long as it is. This might be another one to watch on a 1.5x speed if you so choose. So the archers are going to be behind the gate wall there, and they are going to be within range of us basically all the time. They almost have no reason to move. They will often move, and the game doesn't do a great job of maximizing their AT, which is fine with me. I will take that. The game doesn't do a great job of that, but I'll allow it. So right here, we are also at a speed disadvantage. I'm noticing, I was like, wow, everybody's getting actions before us here in this one. So this is Ramza setting. I've got to pull those levers on both sides. So right away, though, we're at a pretty big health disadvantage. We've got arrows flying at us, and Ramza's already taken a big hit from the knight. Ramza's the only one he's the worst one to take that hit because he does not have the regen status from the bag. I'm going for the defensive strategy again here. It's probably easy to see why. I'm going to be taking a lot of pings from swords and arrows and from magic, all of which is dodgeable with our mantles. Sadly, none of it is dodgeable if we are charging, mantle or no. So I have to be really careful about that. So I've got the bags for regen status. Ramza does have the rod, but right now he's got to recover some HP, so he's going for life drain. And I'm going to generally let them come to me here. All right, now, so Fire 4 is charging, and I'm looking to see what can I do and when. If the mage is silenced there, then Fire 4 will not be able to fire off. So my first plan is, aha, Fire 4 is going to be a long time charging, so I'll just go ahead and cast Silence on him. Bam. And then I see his equipment, and he has a gold hairpin on. So Silence, unfortunately, is not going to be an option for us. So the option here is to cast Innocent status on that wizard, which is a double-edged sword. It's a problem for us as well. It's, how do I say it? I guess it's symmetrical. It's a problem for him, but a problem for us. So Innocent status sets your faith to 0. Now, your faith determines both your damage and accuracy on spells you cast, but also damage and accuracy on spells that are targeted at you. So if he is an innocent status, then his spells will do 0 damage, but our spells will have 0 chance to hit and will do 0 damage to him. If we had rods on those characters, that'd be no problem. We would then just go to town on him. We'd put him in innocent status and then just go to town with rods. It'd probably be about 2 or 3 hits with a rod, because rods have really solid damage. But sadly, we have bags, and bags do multiples of 12 damage. They either do 12, 24, or 36 damage on a random roll. So we do get 1 life drain out of him. We do get some damage on him before the innocent status will land. And this is pretty funny. So he's going to get an innocent status. Looks like we have good compatibility together, but like Fire 4 would have probably taken us out right away. So we can't really let that land fully on us. So Silence would have been a great stopper for him. Sadly, immune to Silence. So, oh well. So we do need these knights to be don't acted, and we do get that. So we can kind of recover a little bit here from that initial barrage. Now they've got a hasted wizard up there, and now the wizard is going to haste the other knight who's stuck. So that's a nice wasted action for that wizard. I appreciate that part. And actually misses anyway. So those knights are going to get turned faster, but it doesn't matter because they're not going to do anything. So this is what Fire 4 looks like, in case you haven't really seen it in this game. And that's what it looks like when it does 0 damage, thanks to you being in innocent status. And then that's her absorbing 48 MP from it. So a pretty nice little sequence there, I guess. So yeah, unfortunately, that was the best. That was our only chance there. Otherwise, she would have been taken out by that spell, or just about taken out. So now anything we try on that wizard is going to be 0 to land. That wizard's not going to be able to do anything to us, but we can't really touch him. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Because with his faith being 0, the way damage and the way things are multiplied, it uses a multiplication of like their faith over 100, but if their faith is 0, then the whole thing becomes 0, because any multiplication formula, if there's a 0 in that sequence somewhere, everything's going to be 0. That's just how that works. We all remember that from math class. So anyway, here is the archer. The archers, just like in the north gate of Bethla Garrison battle, the archers have position on us, and they're pretty, they're lethal right from the get-go. They're right up there, and they're able to cause some pretty significant harm. That wizard also is a little bit scary, being in haste status, because he's going to get turns quickly, and we're kind of bunched up, and we're pretty vulnerable to magic damage and casting in general. Now, I should have, at this point, looked to see the equipment on that wizard. So I'll spoil it for now, but I was assuming in this battle without looking, or maybe I thought I had checked that wizard had a gold hairpin, but he actually doesn't. He's got a flash hat on, as I remember from recording this one. So silence would have been a way to go for this wizard the first time we got a chance to hit him with something. But I believe we didn't take that route, because I just maybe thought I had checked for gold hairpin and didn't see one. So she's looking around to where she can go. Again, I don't want us bunched up too much, and when we do have to bunch up, I want us on different heights, especially if we can get to be 2 heights away, so that it's a little bit harder to charge the smaller black magic spells on us. If he charges something like a huge Fire 4, that's not as big a problem. There's a hit with the bag, by the way. That's the only thing she could do. She can't move to reach the other thing because that wizard is literally blocking our way up the tower, up the wall. So she just whack him with your bag. But so the Fire 4 has a really big radius. It's like a summon in its radius, but it also is like a big summon in its very long charge time. So I would be able to do something during a charge, like maybe get Ramza up there and hit him with a stick. Ramza's got great offensive output, so if that wizard moves down to where it can hit us, Ramza can get him with a stick if he's charging something long. Now that one is not a Fire 4, I can tell, because the effect radius is a lot smaller. So that one's going to be, looks like I think it's a Fire 2. I think that's a Fire 2, yeah. But I think that wizard must have a black robe on, because he's getting boosted damage big time right there. And we have a Oracle in critical. So she's 1 arrow hit away. And that wizard right there, not targeting spell, because the AI knows that it's going to do 0, so it knows not to target a spell. So she's in critical, so she's got to get a life drain. And this is like the sad part where she's got to go up here. The thing to do would be to look at that wizard, get a silence on him, but she needs the hit points, and she needs them now, because she's, like I said, one arrow hit away from going down. And look, so she's got great compatibility with that wizard. She's going to pick up some hit points from the regen, which is nice, but she needs more. So sadly, we couldn't quite get the silence targeted on him that we needed to from a character with great compatibility to him. Oh well. So now we're charging up here. We're getting closer to where we can actually get hitting hits on that archer back there. And I had forgotten, like, oh yeah, I can't do anything to that wizard. Can't do anything here. Can't do anything here. This is where I was like, I wish she had a stick in her hand so she could be a little bit better. But oh well. And so I'm looking at Paralyzed, but Paralyzed has no vertical tolerance, so it has to be in the same height. And Sleep was too long there, and I think I looked at the AT. I think Sleep was too long to target. Sleep could have hit the archer, but it was too long. All right, so she picked up 100 hit points here, so it got 31 from the regen and then 64. But that could have been a silence, That could have been a silence easily. And now we're targeting, it looks like maybe something bigger down there. I can't really see. Maybe that's just another Fire 2 or whatever, but you see how haste is such a problem. So now we can move up, and now we can get a target on that archer. There's nothing we can do to that wizard, but we can get a target on the archer. So we can slow him down a little bit, or we can start to work on draining his life. And thinking back on it, I probably, depending on what our compatibility is like, probably the right call would be to just start working on his life total, because he is going to go after one of us with his, yeah, so he's immune to Don't Act, it looks like. He must have a defense armlet. So I think that's the, yeah, that's maybe the tactic here. Can't do anything with the wizard. So yeah, because he can shoot us with the arrow, but with regen, and if we're draining his life, we can overcome his damage pretty easily. So I think that's the right call here. Just go after the life total of that archer while you can. Okay, because he's going to charge up, and that's okay. So because she got more than that from just draining him, and she'll get half of that just from taking a turn of regen. So there's Ramza getting hit again. Again, Ramza right up here in front. Not where I want him, but like it's kind of where he has to be. I don't want him up front taking the hits because he needs to be recovering from a distance because he doesn't have regen. Now this is, again, I wish I had the one more tile of move, because any attack there with a stick would be probably the end of that wizard right there, even with a really high total, because getting a bonus from the charge and everything. But sadly, Ramza can't quite get there. And so here's where I finally look at the status. But I guess he has a magic ring, so magic ring might also be immune to silence. I guess maybe I spoke too soon there. I think magic ring might be a silence one. So anyway, here's Ramza moving up and looking at what he can do. Bolt 2 is going to fire off right away. So Ramza's just looking for some hit points. What can I do? Might as well go after the wizard where I've got good compatibility. So yeah, maybe I misspoke there, because I think the magic ring is a silence protector. Never mind. We'll leave that in. All right, so now what to do? I'm going to spread out because I couldn't quite see who that Bolt 2 was targeted at. I couldn't quite see how he targeted it because the camera was at a bad angle when he did it. So I'm just going to try to spread our guys out. I think only one of us is going to take a hit here from a Bolt 2. And they're going to guard it with their Dracula Mantle. And they're going to pick up the 10 MP. Thank you. Thank you, Dracula Mantle. It's all right. Okay, so here's Life Drain on the wizard. Good. Ramza picking up some more hit points. Thank you. I will take that. And he has MP Absorb, which is pretty funny. So that wizard must have spent some time as an oracle, because he's picking up MP from our spells. And 16 is no small MP total for a wizard, especially because those Bolt 2 spells just take 10. All right, so here's coming up, and all right, that's another. Oh, that's going to be lethal if it lands. That's going to be lethal if it lands. So now I can move up here. I'm going to be out of range of the knight because they're not going to move out for us. And so I'm looking at what I can do, where I can target things. I'm looking at where the archer is, what he's got going on. Thinking about right now, you know, I can try to hit the archer with something with a life drain, or I can attack the wizard with my bag. I can try to stop the archer, but I had forgotten that I already looked. I think it's a defense armlet that says no on the Don't Act. But sleep status, hey, there's an idea, and it looks like it will have a pretty nice chance of landing. So that will slow that archer down, and then we can just work on this wizard. We can just like go to town on him with our bags, I guess. So here he's going to charge a huge thing. Now you saw that Fire 4 said 0 damage, but what the game had figured out is that his innocent status will have ended by the time that spell resolves. This is where the game has a really big advantage over you, because the game can see those kinds of things that you can't see. You can see the AT, you can see who gets turns in the order, but you can't, as far as I know, you cannot really see when something like that is going to happen. So, you know, the innocent status healed. So right now that Fire 4 is not going to do 0. It's going to do, you know, 300 damage or whatever. So again, though, I don't really have a choice. I've got to stop that Fire 4 from going on, and Doubt Faith is going to land right before the spell fires off. And there's innocent status, 93% chance, and it's going to be right before the spell casts. So it's really unfortunate that we can't get maybe one turn where we can target that guy without him being in innocent status. But sadly, that is not the case, and that archer is sleeping. So now it's kind of like 2-on-2 over here with these guys without a lot of output. So the archer now is so he'd be a candidate for petrify, I would say. But the bridge up there, I don't want it to be too clogged, but like now that he's sleeping, that's one tactic. You put a guy to sleep, and then you could just target petrify on him all day long because the attempts won't wake him up. Life drains will wake him up if they land. Okay, so now Ramza's looking, what do I do? Do I go for the defensive strategy? Do I try to don't act? Or do I, you know, just start working on the life total again on these guys? But these guys are still a couple hits away. So I think this knight's at half health. He's taken 2. And neither of these guys look like they have great faith scores. I haven't seen them on the screen here as I'm recording. But so I'm moving back, picking up some MP, and then I'll get the HP. Regen really was a MVP in this battle, I think. I drained a lot of life, but I don't think I was draining enough to totally counteract all of the damage I was taking, especially with the archers around. Okay, so here comes innocent status. Let's hope this lands. Sure enough, it does, right before Fire 4. So it actually won't stop him from casting it, just like before. Silence would prevent him from casting it, but this one, it is a huge Fire 4. And it looks like it's restored all of our MP, thank you. That's good, because we haven't been moving. We've just been acting and waiting. We haven't been moving. So I'm okay with that, because we needed to pick up some MP. So that huge Fire 4, 0 damage. Lol. Way to go, guys. Okay, so now she can move up. That knight's in don't act status. And Ramza, with his stick now, would be a good physical attacker on these guys, but because of our height disadvantage, we've got that positional... positional deficiency. It's tricky for us. All right, so now there's literally nothing these guys can do. They can't move across that bridge. They can't go anywhere. So she's just gonna move up to this wizard, and she's just gonna start whacking him with her purse. 24 damage with the bag. So it can do, yeah, like I said, multiples of 12. It can do 12, 24, or 36 as base damage. All right, so there's that knight down. That was the final hit there. So drain life. So we've got two KOs over on this side, and it's good to have some KOs to know that you've like actually made some progress in this fight. And here's the wizard. It's going to get a little more aggressive. It's going to move up, and it's going to whack that knight, and that's a great way for that wizard to spend his turn, because that knight is completely pointless. But the game doesn't really know that. The AI doesn't know that that knight is not going to do anything. That's why like casting haste on it before was also a wasted action. So that's another, I guess, good thing about this fight. Having those knights there is that the game knows that, like, or the game doesn't know not to buff them or take care of them, because that knight's just going to stand there. So the wizard wasted a turn. It did some damage to the knight, which is good, because that will help me in a little bit if I need to take the knight out another way. If I'm used to using life drains on it, then it won't really help, because it'll just do. I'll just need to hit 4 of them anyway, unless that wizard gets like 3 or 4 hits on that guy to save me a life drain. But now that wizard is also susceptible to my bag whacks, so that's okay. So I'm just checking the equipment of that knight. I'm looking where I can move. And he's moving into attack range, so he's going to take a look at his attacking, but look at that. Ooh, ouch. Low chance to land, not a lot of damage, and it could put him in innocent status, which I really don't want, because innocent is going to protect him from all of our life drains. I was really hoping for, if I'm going to risk putting him in innocent status, I really needed it to be something a lot better than that. I really needed him to be doing more than 100. At least more than what life drain would do. It was a little bit more... It was a little bit less than life drain would take, and it was a little bit higher chance to land. But anyway, Ramza's going for the don't act strategy, and we do land it here. So it had kind of a lower chance to land, and he got it. So that was a nice lucky roll. And here comes another life drain, which she gets. Yeah, that guy's got a huge hit point total with that massive armor. He's got over 300. So now he's going to retreat again. So the dance kind of continues here of a don't act. Knights kind of running away, and then when the status expires, they kind of charge back down. But now I'm fairly safe. This is interesting. I have kind of a barrier of KO'd allies there, KO'd enemies, I guess. They're allies, my enemies. So I can safely stand on these tiles because the knights can't move to those tiles where there is a KO'd character. So I can stand on that tile right there. The archers can still get me, but they can get me anyway. But the knights can't walk to that tile and hit me with their sword. Their attack radius is just too short. So that's a nice one. Okay, so here we go to town again on the bags. That was the highest roll you can get. I don't know if you can crit with the bag. I don't even know if it's possible to critical with the bag. I have no idea. Oh well. But so these bag hits do add up, though. I think, you know, if the hitting the bag, you know, 3-4 times will save me at least one casting of life drain. And this wizard is plenty low, but there he moves to the middle of the bridge to wake up the archer character. So, unfortunately, not much I can do there, and he's still in innocent status, so I can't really target the wizard with anything. I can target the archer now, and now that he's awake, I might as well go after his hit point total again. It's not really worth trying to put him to sleep one more time. Just work on his hit points, and then it's actually not the greatest position to be in because that wizard, sometime his innocent status is going to expire, and then he's going to be lethal again, but we can't really get to him very easily until that happens. You know, we can't hit him with anything until the innocent goes away. So we can't even hit him with our bags, unfortunately. We can't go through that knight, and we can't stand on the tile by the knight. We can stand there, but we'll take a nasty sword hit from the knight that's standing there because they can act, they just won't move. So if you stand next to them, they will take their attack of opportunity. All right, so there we go, working on these guys again. Working on the life total, moving up. So that knight he's still 2 drains away. It's one of those battles where it just doesn't feel like you're making progress. It just feels like every time you look up, it just seems like, wow, there's still a lot of active heads in this battle. But we are slowly building our way there because they don't really have any recovery among these guys. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if there's item in a secondary ability on any of these guys. I haven't really looked, but... So the wizard there is on 0. They're getting close to crystallification. And we're getting aggressive here, moving up. Or are we going to rethink our strategy of moving up? I mean, we're still always going to be able to hit by the archers. So it's really just about those knights. And if this one lands on the knight, if we get one more life drain to land on that knight, he's going to be down. That's it for that knight. This archer still has 2 life drains in him. And it looks like, are we going for that? Yeah, we are going for the last 2 life drains on the archer. And I think she went for this life drain here because it was a little bit higher chance. The knights have I think that lower fate score. It's harder for us to land things on them. So she's going for a little bit more reliable. I want her to be as full on hit points as I can because that other knight is likely when it gets Don't Act expiring, it'll come up at us again. So let's see if this last one lands, and then, yeah, there we go. So that one's going to land, and the archer is down. Okay, all right, cool. So there's innocent status expiring on the wizard. So now, is the wizard going to target a huge thing and then move away from us? That's kind of the worst-case scenario here. Because I can't move through that knight. Yeah, so he's going to target something on the other side. So those 2 oracles right now are trapped, unfortunately. They can't move through an enemy unit in that knight. So they can't. They're stuck. There's nothing they can do, and they can't even attack that knight because they don't have their sticks. And I don't want them to move up there and take big hits from the knight's sword. So we're in a tough spot here. So Ramza is actually going to move into the attack radius of that knight, the attack range of that knight. And so he's looking at what can I do because that wizard is not currently in innocent status, so we can target him again, but unfortunately Ramza has terrible compatibility with that wizard, so everything is a really low chance to land here. So Ramza's like, he's going to actually target a life drain on that wizard, hoping that if his lands, and even if it lands, it's still going to take another one. But look, Ramza's misses, so he misses his attack. He's in range to be attacked by this knight, and this knight's going to land his attack, even though he had his mantle on. Don't act is expired on that other knight, and like just like that, it feels like this battle's suddenly like kind of going off the rails. Because Ramza just took a huge hit. He aggressively moved up there to attack the wizard, with the hope that, you know, the wizard would be able, or that he'd be able to take care of it. So, and I don't want to do innocent again on that wizard, because it again is going to just mean that we have to sit around for another whole bunch of turns, not being able to do anything to him, especially if the wizard stays between those knights, where we can't get Ramza, our only stick wielder, there. So she is going to just go for Life Drain. Instead of going for Innocent, she's going to go for Life Drain, because I know that these other oracles are going to get their actions to be able to target that wizard, and I'm banking on at least one more of these Life Drains landing. That's what I'm just banking on. I've got 2 oracles here who can do it, and here's where I'm looking, because as I'm counting tiles, I can only move one of these 2 oracles into the tile where they can target him. And here's where knowing what the compatibilities are off the top of your head would be very helpful. Still don't know, I'm sorry. Because I could have chosen which one of those 2 would move up there, but right there, it looks like I made a good choice, because she can't target that tile, and it was a 99% chance to land. So she had enough compatibility that she could land this one on him without that big penalty. So that was the right choice, I guess, because I didn't, again, want to try to do Innocent on that guy before Fire 4. So she's going to start working on, looks like working on this knight right here. Now, the one who's charging the Life Drain is going to take a nasty whack from the knight, just like Ramza did. But there, now finally the wizards are gone. So I've got an archer and a wizard KO'd up on the wall. I've got a couple other treasure chests coming down there. There's one archer kind of left on his feet, and a knight left on his feet there. So this is the one that I thought he was going to go up and attack Ramza for in the back for like maybe lethal. I don't know what Ramza's hit point total is, but like that would have been the end of this battle, because Ramza has to stand on those tiles. So that knight making that choice was a really crucial point here in this fight, for the enemies anyway. So she's gonna target it and move down here. And there is that one, so still not there. We have yet another one. So yeah, he's at 68. He's at a quarter of his health. And so this guy's going to get another attack on Ramza. So yeah, so I wonder if the other knight down there looking at Ramza, he had 104. Looks like, that could have been lethal too. Like Ramza moving up there was actually probably not the smartest idea, given everything that happened. He really relied on some good luck there. This could have been a wasted effort if things had gone differently. If both of those knights had hit, or even one of them had hit Ramza, could have been the end. But that's okay. As it is, he's targeting I think he's targeting the archer with his drain. He'll pick up some hit points if he gets it. And yeah, the archer was going after the oracle that had gotten the attack before. And there we go. So the archer is down, and now we're in a much safer position. Although the knights still can move to where the treasure chests are now. Ramza's not protected by those anymore. And if this life drain lands, then then it's really over. We just now have to target. We have to drain those other knights that are standing on the tiles, and then wait for them to crystallize. So we do have a little bit of mop-up mode here. Sadly, that one didn't land, so battle's not over yet. I've got to get her out of range of this guy. But I can start working on his life total. She's just got to move one tile away. And here's where I'm not sure what the conditions are off the top of my head that will get them to move. If it seems like if they're the last 2, then they probably should move to attack. But in this particular role of the battle, or whatever circumstances I had, they don't. I should have probably looked that up before recording this, but because I know speedrunners use tactics or strategies to get them to move so that they can just teleport up there and just touch those things, because you don't have to KO everyone in this fight. All you need to do to end this battle is touch those two switches. So if you can get those knights off of those switches, then you can just touch them and the battle will end no matter who's still left on the battlefield. So this knight's going to go pick up that, looks like a diamond armlet, I think. And he's going to go for the head break on Ramza. I checked that afterwards. So he broke Ramza's headgear. Always curious when knights go for that. I don't know what makes them do that instead of a HP attack. But he did land it. Pretty low chance to land, 33%. There we go. Landed it, 1 and 3. So there is the life drain, and there it is. So now we're into, mop-up mode here. Everybody's alive. Everyone's on their feet. But these knights, I thought that they would start to move and be more aggressive. And that could have actually been a problem for us, especially on the other side with just the two oracle units. Especially the one that had taken the hit before. So, but we'll just keep draining and waiting, draining and waiting, draining and waiting. And then it'll be just waiting until they crystallize. We'll get everybody within 4 tiles of the knights, and then we'll just take everybody out. There's another one landed. And it's kind of cool. You can use them as we could have used them as an HP reservoir during the fight if we had really needed some hit points and we couldn't get to any other characters, but ended up not doing that. I thought about doing that as a possible strategy going in. So here's where I'm just going to pick up some items here. It'll be helpful because the next batch of gear is fairly expensive. The things that kind of unlock here, the octagon rods and the flash hats and those things can get kind of pricey. So it'll be nice to pick up all of the equipment from these guys, especially those expensive armlets. It's going to be nice. I do keep a good stock of those things, just because I don't want to be stuck in a place where, like, oh man, I have this battle that if I had another point of speed or if I had another point of attack power, I could, do this or that. So I do tend to hold on to those kinds of gear. Things like your chameleon robes for a while, and your white robes to defend against the elemental stuff, which could have been a good choice going into this fight, given those wizards, but they just were always in the innocent status. So yeah, silence is great in this battle, or in this game, but it's a big problem at this particular point in the game where you start to run into a lot of the equipment that protects from silence. So gold hairpin and the magic ring. There's not much to talk about here in the final chapters, so you can just kind of watch and see what I pick up. I think I get some of those expensive armbands or armlets that will just be for selling. I also can't really use Petrify on these guys because I need to get to their tiles, so I can't Petrify these knights. I can't do the one-shot KO for them. Let's see if I can get these to land. There we go. So now one knight is on the clock. And I don't know, like, if this other knight, now that he's the very last one, it's still not taking a move. So even though he's the very last one and there's a squishy mage right in front of him, he's not gonna move, I guess. So here we go. There's a nice hit, and so now we just need one more right there. Yeah, so he's in critical status because the wizard had hit him before. If the wizard hit him a couple more times, then we could have saved a life drain, but because the wizard only hit him once, he didn't do enough damage. He would have to do 80-something damage to him to save us casting a life drain. So there we go. All right, so now everybody's down, but you notice the battle's not over because the only win condition is Ramza touching all of those switches. So now we need to wait until they crystallize, and we can pick up all the other chests from the other guys. I'm going to move these oracles up here so that they can start to pick up the chests as well as they turn. And at this point in the game, I'd much rather have the enemies turn into a chest than a crystal, because I have all of the abilities that I could possibly want. And I'm going to end this battle with likely everybody on full health and full MP because of move MP up and regen. Maybe Ramza will be missing a little bit of HP. But everyone's certainly going to be full on MP. I'm looking at, like, what can I pick up? What do I got? Let's do it. Let's pick up Ice 2. Why not? So there's 10 MP. And yeah, so you see our MP pool is quite low because I'm wearing all of the armor and gear that gives me the most hit points that I can. Because I really want I want regen to be recovering a lot of MP or of hit points, and regen is also based on your max. So I really want to have a good hit point pool because I knew I was going to be taking a lot of hits and damage. So instead of going for the robes to boost MP, I went for the HP boosts, and I've been doing that more recently. Move MP up is a really solid ability for these guys. So I don't really have to emphasize piling on the MP because I don't really need my starting MP to last through. There's a Jade Armlet. So there's a crystal from that knight. So Ramza needs to move to that tile. So he's going to have to grab that crystal, and he's going to have to hit that button. So there he goes. What ability can I get here? Magic Break. Why not? So there we go. Now if he's a knight, he can attack the MP pool of his enemies. Oh well. So there's one switch down. And then pulling that one over there. So now I need to let that other knight crystallize. There we go. It's a chest. And we're all just sitting here waiting and gaining life. She's going to move out of the... I think she's going to move to pick up the chest because Ramza can't quite get to that tile with just 3 move. So she's going to get the black robe. Interesting that knight was wearing a robe. That's okay. Nothing much anyone else can do. And Ramza's going to move over here. I'm going to try to move one of my oracles down there to be in the torrent of water when it comes through. I like to try to get somebody washed away. They don't actually get washed away. You don't really lose them, but on the battlefield, it looks like they get washed away in this big flood. As we start kind of the final half chapter of this game. There's going to be a lot of one-on-one battles from here on. There's a few more like take out everybody battles. But then there's going to be a lot of those single target battles, especially in the final area here. So we'll be seeing a lot of targeting a few more Zodiac demons, and then some more of those Knights Templar, and then our last push. So as we're about to watch this flood, I will say if you've been liking these videos, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, which I always love seeing, or hit me up on Twitter where I'm also active_ATE. Hope you've enjoyed us unlocking the sluice gates as one of my oracles gets washed away in the torrent, and we will see you as we go on through Chapter 4.